Yeah, physically, not great, obviously. Mentally, not great. It's tough ending the season like the way we did. I feel better physically today than I did 2 weeks ago on the Monday after the game, so that's a plus. But obviously disappointed. I mean, this is my seventh year now, finishing my 7th year, and this is the 7th locker room clean out. And the only one that felt good was 2 years ago after we won the Super Bowl. Every other year sucks, just part of the business. There's only one team that's going to feel good at the end of the year, and unfortunately, we were not the team this year. But guys are hungry. I'm proud of the guys, and it was a year I'll never forget for sure.
How's Carson feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, he's better for sure. I'm not going to get too much into detail about it because it's a very internal thing, those injuries. You know, I've had a couple, unfortunately. And you could deal with the muscle injuries, the ligament injuries, but the brain injuries are nothing to mess around with. So they're probably the scariest ones, and you got to be extremely careful with it.
When you saw the video, your thoughts on the non-call?
Yeah, my thoughts haven't changed since last night when we spoke. I just don't think. I think something should have been called. Obviously, I feel like everyone is in agreement after seeing that. It really hurt our football team that he wasn't able to play. He's one of the best players in the league, obviously. But his health is the most important thing to us as players. And so we just want to get him healthy.
How about for your health? How was your mom, your family, people when you were out there playing, and how you feeling today?
I mean, obviously the family was concerned. Some of the tougher parts in the past couple of weeks were trying to fend off the Twitter doctors that my mom and my family had to read about. Just telling them that those doctors never saw me. They never saw the images. They never saw the reports. So we got great doctors here that are seeing me each and every day, so don't listen to the Twitter doctors because they don't know what they're talking about. And it's a different scale because it's your health, so obviously they're concerned. But it was just I just had to reassure them that they weren't the ones seeing me, so regardless of what they were saying. But I mean, I just can't wait to feel normal again. They said it's going to take probably another month to feel back to myself after everything that went on, so just really looking forward to getting healthy again, finding a way to get better as a football player, because I just feel like I'm starting to hit this thing rolling, and I'm excited about it.
What's the takeaway from this season? Is it more so that you pride in the fact that you guys were able to get as far as you did with all those injuries, or is there a feeling that you guys got robbed, you lost your quarterback? What could have been yesterday?
I think the feeling that guys will take away from this year is just the resiliency of this team. Obviously, we dealt with a lot of stuff that you really can't, you couldn't make up the script that went on this year. Just everything that went on. Nothing came easy, and guys just stuck together. Guys just kept working their butts off. Feels like when our backs are against the wall, we just came together, and no one pointed fingers. Everyone just kind of got back to work, found a way to win, and the thing that I'll take away from this year is that as a football team, we found a way to be NFC East champs, and there's going to be a banner raised because of that in the stadium, and that's something that no one will be able to take away from us. Obviously, our goals are much bigger than the NFC East. The standards are much higher than the NFC East, but that's our first goal each and every year, and so we achieved one of our goals, and so we'll be able to hang our hats on that at the least.
People were saying that this season is a success simply because of that, but you started off by saying that mentally you're struggling right now. So what specifically is it that's you're struggling to let go of?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part about the NFL is you meet guys along the way that I would have never met. I'm from California, Carson's from North Dakota, Josh is from Charlotte now, lived in Texas, Kelsey's from Cincinnati, JP's from Texas, Lane's from Texas. So those are guys that this sport brings together that you build these lifelong relationships with, that you're able to grow together and be a part of a family really for a long time. But the worst part of it, besides the injuries, is the fact that this locker room is never going to be the same, and guys are going to leave, and the guys that you see each and every day, you're not going to be able to see for a couple months, if not years. And so just the relationships that we've been able to meet over the past 8 months as a football team, how close we've gotten. That's the toughest part, is not seeing these guys each and every day for the coming weeks, and understanding that this team will never be the same. The last team meeting we had today was the last team meeting we'll ever have as a group with those exact guys. And so that's the toughest part of this day today.
The players. As a follow-up to that, there's a sentiment the past 2 years almost to run it back, kind of putting the same group back.
Yeah.
Is there a sense that this offseason is going to be different than the past 2 years?
I mean, obviously, after the Super Bowl year, you don't feel like you have to change much. Last year, we got to the one step further, and this year we got to the playoffs. So, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of questions. I feel like there's a lot of free agents on this football team. And I mean, I can only speak for myself, and the fact of the matter is that no one knows what's going to happen with me or with anyone. Probably the only one that knows for sure is Cars. And so it's been an incredible 7 years for me here. I want to be here forever. I hope I'm able to be here forever. And whatever they decide, they're going to decide. But it's been a heck of a run. I don't ever want it to end because it's been so much fun. I've grown so much here. My family's grown so much here. And so I can just speak for myself. And I'm looking forward to next year playing here. And that's all I can say.
Even with that, are you expecting some type of additional contract this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, it's a business. I understand that. But Philly is where my heart is. They know that. We're going to do everything we can to get it done. And I'm excited for that opportunity to continue to play. I mean, I have a lot of individual goals from a career standpoint here that I feel like I'm extremely close to attaining. And in terms of team success, I feel like we're close. And I never want to play for a team, for any other team. The most important thing to me is winning championships for this city. The feeling you get playing here is second to none, just understanding the fans, understanding the passion. People say it's tough playing here. I'm like, it's not tough, you know. It's amazing when you win. It's a little harder when you lose. But when the season's over, they're proud always of their teams. And so no matter what goes on, as long as you show fight, grit, and resilience, the city's going to love you. And that's some place I never want to leave.
What do you think that's because of what you played with this year?
So even with that changing personnel, you talk about playing in the city and the culture that you guys have been able to develop over the last 4 years under Doug. What is that culture? How would you describe that culture?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a group that comes to work each and every day, busts their butt each and every day, finds a way to improve, really embraces the grind of not only the day-to-day process, but of the entire season. And I feel like if you're a guy that commits to that and commits to the team, you're going to be a guy that you're going to be here for a long time. If someone's not willing to work, if someone's not giving their all, it's a culture that's kind of going to chew them up and spit them out. In a team that no matter what hand we're facing, we're going to find a way to overcome it. And that's just been a testament of the past 2 years. 2 years in a row, we were 5-7 at one point. Last year, we go to the playoffs, win a playoff game, lose at the end when we had a chance. This year, go to the playoffs, win the division, had a chance at the end, despite all the odds. I mean, we had 4 starters at the end of that game that were there at the beginning of the year. So just a resilient group, and that's the culture of this city. I mean, this team embodies the city, in my opinion. There's no other way to put it.
Zach, you played more for 12 this year than ever before.
Yeah.
Some of that was out of necessity, but also it just seemed to become the best way to move the ball.
Yeah.
Is it still? I mean, do you believe with his emergence, with the way you're playing, that this can be a long-term?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Dallas is a great player. I think I'm a good player. I feel like it's a personnel group that we can hang our hats on. Teams got to make a decision when they defend us because we have 2 tight ends that can really do both. We could run block, we could pass catch, we could run routes. And oftentimes I'm going to get – and the thing as well with that group is when you have a guy like Miles, another interior threat, teams really got to decide how they're going to defend us because I'm always going to kind of get the best cover guy. And then those other 2, you kind of got to pick your poison of who's next. And there's just so many mismatch opportunities on the inside. And obviously, whatever happens at the receiver position, that was kind of the hand we were dealt this year, more 12, 13 personnel. But I love the big tight end groupings. It's what I kind of was raised on at Stanford. We kind of got into this year, and it's a lot of fun.
Do you think Doug likes it? I mean, likes it enough to commit to it?
Doug's a guy that isn't going to play favorites to a personnel group. He's a guy that's going to, whatever he thinks is the best chance to win, he's going to put it on the field. And that's why guys love playing for him. He's going to put us in a position to be successful regardless of who's on the field. He's just going to find a way to win, and that's what this NFL is all about.
Zach, I've been around you for 7 years now. This is the first time I've heard you say, if I'm back next year. Is there something different? Is there something behind that?
I think, no, there's nothing behind that. Just I understand this business. I have 2 more years on my contract, and I want to be here. And I expect to be here, and I love playing here. But crazier things have happened, and my goal is to play here my entire career. I feel like I just finished year 7. I feel like I got 7 more great years. I feel like I'm just hitting my stride as a player. So there's no alternative motive. I just know that.
I don't mean that. I just mean like, is this an off season where there's more questions?
I hope not. I mean, I don't think so. I expect to be here April 20th, grinding with the guys, and I feel like it. There was nothing. It's just understanding the nature of this business. But I expect to be back.
Yeah, well, I asked.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm sorry if it came off that.
That's fine.
I didn't mean it to say that I think this is going to be the last time I'm talking to you guys, because I don't think it is. Fortunately for me, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, it's just one of those things. It's year 7. I have 2 more years on my contract, and I want to be here for a long time, and I hope that's the case.
Now that you've had the benefit of sleeping on it a little bit, did it feel like you guys, considering everything that happened, you were still so close, and maybe this season was cut a little shorter than what you thought?
You always try to look at the positives. And, what I took from this season and took from, what happened yesterday, it's like, man, we got to see what the whole team was made of, and, man, it's something to be proud of, because the deeper we dug into the roster to try to find people to step up and, help us to win, we found some guys, that's gonna be here, that's gonna, be, a good foundation of, what we gonna try to do in 2020, because, man, I'm telling you, we're gonna come back stronger, and I believe that. I really believe that next year's, man, we're gonna take off and be the team that we know we could have been this year. But we had to learn some things. I felt like, going through this season, we had to really, we had some aches and pains, but and some some stuff that we had to really, do as far as leaders. They put us in a position where we had to find out what we was made of as leaders. It taught me a lot of things. It taught me how to, even though I'm always encouraging and doing stuff like that, but it taught me how to be patient, and have patience with my teammates. People that you got to teach, on the fly. You got to have patience with them. You got to know that they're trying their hardest. They've been working hard, and now, man, I feel like these boys got that experience that they've been wanting, for a long time, and now it's only gonna go up from here, because I know we got a bunch of guys that wish that would have been, we would have got this game because they would have been back next year, but they gonna have that same hunger and desire to get back on that field, like Deshaun and new guys that we add, because this team won't be the same, but we gonna have a lot of the core guys that been through, this season that taught us, even no matter what happens, never give up. Never, doubt yourself, and just know that it's a long season, and, if you just keep on doing what you're supposed to do, you might just get up in there.
It was a very similar season to a year ago in terms of you guys having to scrape your way into the playoffs, but you went a little step further last year. But in some ways, was this season more rewarding because of the volume of injuries that you had, and you still were able to get past that initial hump, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. I think you helped us a lot. You helped us a lot.
Right,
you did. You helped us, but I felt like, man, being able to, it was a total different season than we was last year. Not as many guys got hurt, I mean, we had a lot of guys hurt. O-line was banged up. Lane, Brandon Brooks out for the year. You got Malik, who got hurt early. I mean, man, you can go on and on about the injuries that happened and the people that we lost going into this game. So it's like, man, all I know is it was a bunch of people that was, ready for their moment, but we just came up short. but we did put ourselves in a position to score at the end of the game. Just didn't come up with the score, and we didn't make the stop that we needed to make the stop, to get the ball one more time. But I do know that, we gave everything we had, and I don't have no regrets.
Can you ever chalk a season up to just too many guys got hurt?
Yeah, I can chalk it up to that, but I always think about, what the positives and what was some of the, it's always what are the good things that came from the season and what some things we need to work on, and it wasn't perfect. Of course you're going to be frustrated at times, but you got to shake that off and move forward. When it's time to work, it's time to work. We on to the next week. And right now, this one, I'm on to 2020 already. I looked at the film last night, looked at it again this morning, and you see it, and you be like, man, we're not that far off. We needed some guys, to make some of the plays that we normally would make in the games, but they wasn't there. And I was happy for the exposure for the younger guys, and they got that exposure. And man, when them other guys come back that we put in place for this year, I can't wait because they're going to have that hunger, to get back out there and make some plays.
But Brandon, what about guys not being there? 2 years in a row, you guys have had an extraordinary amount of starters go down. What do you make of that? What do you see?
Man, it's part of the game. It sucked, because you see other teams go through it, and then you end up getting that, 2 years straight. You're right, man, having the injury bug. But I don't think it's – I just think it's just part of the game. And I think that, it flies around the league everywhere. Other teams go through it 1 year, 2 years. And then other teams, that never been through it, start to go through it. And, but it showed us what we really made of, man, because we could have quit so many times in that game and made excuses. But, we got it done and win the NFC East. That was one of our goals, but we just came up short of trying to win the whole thing.
Fans are very upset about how it went down with Carson and Clowney.
Yeah.
You play that position. This is a violent game. Things happen quickly. He said there was no intent, but, fans are going to see it through the lens of being a fan.
Yeah.
But it's just the game, ain't it?
It's the game, and some people, man, you don't know what they going through and what they do on this field, because sometimes when you playing people, they look possessed sometimes, because of what they finally get to go out here and try to terrorize some people. And I think Clowney, when you see his game, that's how he plays. He's always like that. I haven't seen the actual whole thing because I said I was gonna look at it today, but I do know that in this game we don't have no place for it. If it was dirty, but I don't think, I just know how his game is, and I know that, he's aggressive. And so it might have been just one of those things where, it just happened to, happen the wrong way, and I just try to stay out of it, because at the end of the day, it's a touchy feeling. Touchy play because, we lost our quarterback. And, of course, we didn't plan on that happening, and we didn't want that to happen. But I will say, with his aggressive style and how he plays, how we play as a D-line, because, I play hard too. It happens. It happens.
At the same time, Carson's getting criticized for getting injured and not being there on the field.
Yeah.
How do you feel for him after all that he went through to get to this point?
Well, people that know the game, man, know that you can't control that, and I feel like with Carson, if you don't know him, people gonna always try to judge people they don't know. I know him. I know how much it means to him. I know how hard he works. And me speaking for myself, I know that, man, he's gonna find a way to get it done 2020.
Feeling good. Gonna have surgery Thursday. The timetable probably towards end of OTAs in the summertime. So,
personally, how devastating was it for you to have your season end like that after the way last season ended and the way you fought back?
Honestly, it's football. You're gonna get hurt. It's a contact sport. Did it suck? Yeah, but I really wouldn't want to go out any other way. I guess if that makes sense. Being out there playing, with guys I love. So.
How hard was it watching yesterday from the sidelines?
It was tough. The biggest thing I can do is, be there to support my teammates. And, when Matt Pryor's in there, kind of, coach him up from the sideline. So that's kind of, what I did. And, anything, he needed or any other guys needed, just ask. And, it was done. So.
How'd you injure?
How did it all happen exactly?
It was on field goal. My arm got bent backwards. When it got bent backwards, came out of socket, broke the bone on the bottom. I tore my Achilles. This is way easier than that, so it's not a big deal. So yeah, I mean that's how it happened. The biggest thing was they couldn't get it back in socket when I was out there, so that's why I had to end up going to the locker room and got some X-rays from there. So,
Brandon, what was your view of the hit on Carson?
You know, obviously I felt it should have been a flag. You know, I guess if you're asking me, do I think it was like a dirty hit or anything like that? I mean, I know Clowney. I know he's not that type of player. But should it have been a flag? I think it should have been a flag. Meanwhile, Barnett gets the flag for basically trying to hit the quarterback, but also trying to keep him up, and still got the flag. So I thought if you would throw a flag for that for sure earlier in the game, it should have been a flag there.
Obviously not the way that you wanted your season to end or the rest of the team's season to end, but when you look back on this year, what stands out for the way that you guys battled through all the adversity and injuries?
I think the sign of a good coach is, no matter what happens, guys still fighting, you still win games. And, a lot of guys, I guess when we started the season, on paper it was, we had X, Y, and Z, Super Bowl or bust, blah, blah, blah. And, with this game, comes injuries. And, a lot of, big name guys got hurt, and, guys who, were practice squad guys, or, guys who, maybe were sitting at home, or maybe even guys who were here just, not featured guys. When they had an opportunity, they stepped up. And I think you see that no matter if it was this year, last year, years before, ever since Doug got here. I think one of the biggest, signs for him, his impact on the team is, just no matter what happens, guys are fighting, guys are, stepping up when the opportunity is called, guys know what to do when the opportunity is called, and, guys go out there and execute and win games.
Why is that? Why do you guys feel like you're fighting for Doug and that you've had that culture since he got here?
I mean, Doug's a tremendous coach and person. He's been a player as well, so he understands, what we go through each and every day, and has a really good pulse on the team as far as, if guys are hurting today, or if guys are, need to be chewed out a little bit. Doug has a good pulse on that. And, guys really respect, coaches who, listen to them when, there's an issue. Maybe we need to fix this, maybe we need to tweak this. Even during the game on the sideline, like offensively, between players, coaches, relaying what we're saying to him, and, vice versa. He listens, and I think that goes a long way with players.
How's this offseason going to compare to last offseason?
Probably about the same.
You think so?
I mean, like, injury, surgery, rehab, recover. I mean, the timetable's a lot shorter, but, for the first, 2 or 3 months, I mean, be about the same.
What does
every day again? Like last year, you had to be here.
Oh, well, after that Jacksonville stuff, I think a lot of players realized, like, well, we don't have to be here. We can go rehab wherever. I'm going to have the surgery Thursday, and I'll be here basically the rest of this month. Go rehab a little bit in San Diego, but come back towards the end of February and just keep rehabbing here.
And what does the surgery involve? What do you have to get done?
I mean, I'm not a doctor, man, but the little piece of bone, basically, they're going to put it back on, suture. I asked this question too. Puts 2 sutures in the front and kind of rope it. The bone itself will grow back, and then the labrum they'll just repair and rehab in a couple months and be all right.
You said shorter timetable. Do you know what that timetable is?
I'm thinking probably as we go into the summer, into OTAs.
What's the feeling in here? Is it that, immense pride for getting as far as you did with all the injuries you guys had? Or is there a feeling that you guys got robbed of a potential run in the postseason, given the way Carson got knocked out yesterday and the way that game ended?
That's a tough one right there. I think we're very proud of where we've gotten with all the crazy injuries and different things that have happened to different people. But at the same time, we're never satisfied with losing in the first round. Our goal every year is to get to the Super Bowl and win it. So anytime that doesn't happen, we're very disappointed. That's what we expect every year.
Having had to watch the last 2 seasons end without you being on the field, what was your feeling for Carson as he went through that as well?
I actually told him after the game, man, this doesn't define you. injuries happen. Yeah, you're gonna have people who, say, something always happens, or those aren't the type of people that you really need to be listening to. The people that have your back and see what you do every day, as far as putting the time in, what type of person you are, what type of character you have. Those are the people that are important for you, and we'll be around as you go through this. Obviously watching it from the sideline, felt extremely bad for the guy. All the work he's put in, all the stuff he's been through. I know he's super excited to, go out there and play in his first playoff game, and for it to end the way it did. I just wanted to tell him, it's not going to define your legacy. It doesn't define who you are. So.
If you look at your whole season, from obviously coming back from Achilles, getting a new contract, playing as you did, the first Seattle game, the way it ended, how do you kind of explain what the season was like for you?
Like every other season, man, ups and downs, man. You have highs, you're going to have lows. I think the biggest thing is never getting too high, never getting too low. Coming off the Achilles and, playing well, everything was great. But before you know it, the anxiety thing happened with the Seattle thing, and, you have some lows in there. How did it come back? Why did it come back? Et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, kind of just start from square one, go back playing. I mean, my play itself never, dipped or declined or anything like that. But you have lows with that, and everything is good, everything's good, everything's good, and then boom, tear my shoulder. Like, you have lows with that, and for a couple of days it was like, damn, another injury, another rehab. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just like, well, I had an Achilles that was much worse, and people were telling me I wasn't going to come back and do what I did with the Achilles. So, if I had to, come back every off season to have the same year I had this past year, I would do it.
Boston, what's your lasting memory of the season?
Just going around the locker room at the end and just looking into the eyes of my teammates and just seeing, like, that fire, that I've seen throughout the entire season, of just guys just ready to get back to work, guys that, are not satisfied with how the season went, guys that, I know whenever they come back and, we get back at it, or, wherever they end up, wherever I end up, you never know. But just seeing in their eyes, man, that, we truly care about each other. And, a lot of guys just gave everything that they had. Everybody gave everything that they had. And you can just see that, So, Carson went around and thanked everybody. I went around and, just let guys know that, you appreciate them, because everybody's a part, of this thing, and everybody's contributed in some way, shape, or form. Guys have had to step up on both sides of the ball. And so, this team is special with how we've been able to overcome adversity and fight. And so that's probably, the memory that and just seeing, my homies, Greg, Robert, Deontay, guys that have gotten Josh, guys that have gotten an opportunity to step up, make their impact. That's the stuff that's stuff that makes me happy.
How did the locker room come together like that? I mean, you've been here for 2 years now, and both seasons, teams had to rally down the stretch, has had to overcome injury just to make the playoffs. Where does that come from?
I think just it's innate, guys that they come from backgrounds where they just had to work, that underdog mentality is it's kind of been the common theme for a lot of the guys here. Their situations outside of, getting their opportunities here, what they've gone through to get to this point, So the culture just marries with, a lot of the guys' stories. And so we just come together and we just never stop fighting.
Guys want an opportunity. They just want that one chance to prove themselves. But it seems to be unique that so many guys answered the bell the way they did. It wasn't just that they got a chance to play, that they thrived in those situations. Why do you think that happened across the board with all the guys that you mentioned yourself, Greg, and so on?
Coaching staff. Those guys prepare us. They take it they care, man. They care about us. They care about, winning. They care about the culture, and it really means something to them, and that they're going to do whatever they can. They'll exhaust their time, to make sure that we are ready whenever our number is called. Don't matter if you're on practice squad right now, or you're starting, or you're a backup. Like, it don't matter. Like, whenever you step in, the coach is gonna make sure that you're ready for what you're about to step into. So I just credit that to the coaching staff first off, but also the mindset. Like I said, it comes back to that mindset of those guys. Knowing that it wasn't like a matter of if, but when. When it does happen, you make the most of it, and you can do what you got to do. So that's really what it's been.
Rookie year, you got a taste of the NFL, got to be a returner for the playoffs. Second year, key contributor on offense down the stretch. What lies ahead for you in year 3?
I think it's just the beginning. I still haven't, like I've talked about, I still haven't reached the standard that I've set for myself. I'm way far out from where I want to be, but I want to be the best. I want to be the best, period. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I've continued to work. I've continued to have to, work through situations, and, that's what I do. That's all I know. So that's what I'm going to keep doing.
Do you think about the opportunities with you and Miles in the backfield together next season?
I think it's, and I'd say Jordan Howard too. I think that's a very dangerous backfield. We have guys, Corey Clement. I don't know. That's above my pay grade. But whoever's back there, what I'm saying. I think they're going to be talented. I think we're going to have an opportunity to really make some stuff happen and build on what we've done this year.
The way it ended must have really stung you.
I mean, disappointed. Disappeared and disappointed in the way the game ended. But at the end of the day, it's reality. You got to face it. I thought it was, better for me to kind of leave the scene and, get my thoughts together instead of saying something that I would regret saying, something that would come back and, hunt me. As an adult, I just wanted to remove myself from the situation at the time and figured I'd just deal with the media today.
Your thoughts on the way the Clowney play went down?
I actually didn't see it. I was on the sideline going over defensive stuff with the coach. And next thing I look up, Josh was in the game. So and it actually happened to Carson. They say he got hit in the head, so I was kind of lost on that one. But obviously we all play this game, and I don't think. I'm not taking up for anybody, but I don't think he did it on purpose. This game is fast, and sometimes you just. Things happen. It sucks that it happened to our quarterback, though. The way that things been going for us this season, the way he's played these last few games, man, he's been on fire. And to see him go out like that was pretty devastating.
Go ahead.
What does that do to the rest of the team, that when you see Carson go down, based upon all the other injuries that you guys have had, to see your quarterback go down in a game?
I mean, it sucks, obviously, losing your quarterback. But at the end of the day, it was the next man up. And we knew, as a defense that, we had to try to go out and win it. But we also believe in Josh. We know that he can get the job done. We see him in practice every day. He throw, he practice against, our defense every day. So, we give him good looks. And, at the end of the day, we didn't win the football game, which was most important around here.
This season was very similar down the stretch to a year ago in terms of having to scramble at the end just to get to the playoffs. You got a little farther last year than you did this year. But in some ways, was this season more gratifying because of the volume of injuries you had to overcome just to win the division and just to get to the playoffs?
When I say everything about this season, man, has been a wild ride. Had so many guys go down. And you look at it, and you look at the guys that also stepped up. And the guys that stepped up, man, we just believed in them. And they all came together and it brought this locker room together that much closer. And, you got to give big props out to Doug, man. He did a really good job of, leading his team. And everybody did a good job of following him.
Brandon Brooks said the same thing about that sense of culture under Doug, that despite all the injuries that you guys continue to step up, what is it about what he's been able to do in the 4 seasons now that's built that culture?
He just stays himself. He just be himself. He don't overreact. He don't freak out. He let his team know how he's feeling, what's on his mind, and what this team need to do to get back on track. And everybody believe that. And it says a lot when you got a group of grown men that believes in your head coach the way they would believe in Doug, man, and respect him so much. He pours his heart out to us, and we do the same to him. But at the end of the day, it's our job to go out there and win.
What's the biggest takeaway? Is it pride in the fact that you guys were able to get as far as you did with all these injuries, or is it a feeling that you guys got robbed because of the way you lost your quarterback and and what could have been?
I mean, getting robbed, I wouldn't say that, but obviously they made more plays than we did. We didn't make enough plays to win the game, and you just got to face the fact that they won and we lost. But at the end of the day, this team, man, I couldn't be more proud of this team. The way that we battled, the way that the outsiders, doubted us all the time, and nobody in this locker room ever, flinched. And I've seen that since I've been here. The last couple of years, nobody flinched, nobody pointed fingers. Everybody just show up to work and ready to roll and ready to win.
As strange as it sounds, did this team get better when you got younger out of necessity?
I mean, it was the next guy up. We're all NFL, we're all pros. We all get paid to play this game. So I wouldn't say, obviously you have starters for a reason. And we had a bunch of starters go down, and we had the next guy step up to fill that starting position. And those guys just filled it in, man. They played with a bunch of emotion, and all they did was their job, and they helped them succeed.
You have to go out. What's the off season look like for you now?
Obviously, I got a couple weeks right now, and then I'm probably going to go to the Pro Bowl. Enjoy that week out there with. But other than that, take some time off, kind of heal up and get ready to go start training here soon. Not real soon, but need to let the body heal. But I'm excited about it.
Given your role in this team, you obviously have to show restraint when you're going after a quarterback, given the nature of the rules in this league. When you see the hit that was put on Carson, what are your thoughts on it?
I actually didn't see the hit. I was on the sideline with my head down, the iPad in my hand, going over plays.
Have you seen it now?
I have seen it now, yeah. I've seen it by now, yeah. But during the game, I didn't. We play this game. This game is so fast, man. And, I'm not taking sides. I'm not, obviously it sucks, number one, it happened to our starting quarterback, Carson. This guy's been on fire the last couple of weeks. I don't think he purposely did it. It's a game of football. This game is a physical game.
How do you view the season you had individually?
So, I had 3.5 tonight. Obviously, started the season off pretty slow, but I kind of picked it up as I got healthy in the middle of the season and just took it on, late in the season and obviously, into the postseason. But overall, I feel like it was a decent year for me. I know I could be better. I will be better. Being a year replaced from surgery now, it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Do you think that was the reason for the slow start, by your words, just sort of not having the full off season?
Obviously. You got to think about it. A guy that didn't take one rep in training camp, one rep in OTAs, and went into the first game without taking any of those reps. So obviously, you're rusty somewhere. You feel like it's there, but it's not. And you feel like, you start getting more explosive, more stronger as the season go on. Basically, I spent like the first 4 weeks of the season, that was my training camp.
It seemed like you were a big factor yesterday. Do you think that was your best game of the season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I felt fresh all week. I just told Coach, honestly, I told Coach was getting me to Sunday, and I promised you I'd show up. They got me to Sunday. I felt fresh during the warm-up. When I went out for warm-up, I was like, oh, yes, should be a solid game. But I felt good and, running around fast. And the main thing for me was I knew I had to start fast to get this team fired up.
Even though, as you said, those first 4 games were sort of your training camp, you played a lot of snaps this season. Do you think that moving forward, maybe it makes sense to dial back a little bit?
Well, I think that was the plan for me to not play a lot this year. Obviously, I did play a lot of snaps. I haven't even calculated them yet. But I did play a lot of snaps. But this year, they was going to dial me back some. But at the end of the day, Malik went down. And I think I played beside 7 players this year, which is, really hard, especially when you're trying to, get things down, get on the same page with guys. And but for me, I just go out there and play, man. I just want to win. It don't matter how long I'm out there, how many plays I play. As long as I'm being productive out there, I want to win.
For guys who wouldn't understand the difference between playing next to other defensive tackles, can you sort of explain how that affects you?
I mean, it's trying to build a chemistry. You know, you want to build a chemistry with one or two guys, and I love that I played against 7 different guys. It just shows that I still show up no matter who you put beside me. But to me, it's just about building the chemistry when you got the guy. I look forward to building that chemistry, the same chemistry with Malik next year, man, and knowing that we'll have an off season together, knowing that we'll have a training camp together, and it'll be fun for the both of us.
Of those other guys, did anybody sort of impress you?
I mean, Timmy. I played with Timmy. Played with Timmy in 17, 18, whatever that was for a year. But it was good having him back, and then we got back on the same page, and we started causing havoc.
What do you think of the criticism that Carson's taken, though, for not being on the field?
I mean, it's a head injury. You can't do nothing about a head injury, Obviously, his head hit the dirt, and I mean, if it's a concussion, you can't control that. And it was one of those things where the NFL is looking out for player safety. Obviously, when you're concussed, you can't be out there. So it is what it is.
When you woke up this morning, you probably turned the page back a little bit. What are your thoughts about the game and the season?
I mean, I think the game is really indicative of the season. You wonder how we even got to where we were with who we had on the field, but yet somehow had a chance to win it in advance. Didn't come up with enough plays, but hard to ignore what went into it and what we were able to accomplish with what we had. So it was bittersweet.
A lot of the guys were talking about the coaching over the last 4 weeks. What did you learn or maybe reinforce with coaches?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to accomplish or to be in the position that we were in, given all that transpired through this year, says a lot about the coaching staff, says a lot about Doug Peterson as a leader, and the type of guys that we have in the locker room. So it's no coincidence that, the last 3 years we've had these similar type of situations, and the response has been the same by this locker room. And so I think that, you really start to see the culture that has been built. Obviously, not anywhere where we want it to be, but like I said, as far as just going out there, staying together, giving it everything you got, that's never been in question, and so it's something to be proud of.
You were honest about your contract situation. Are you expecting resolution this whole season?
Something will happen. I don't know what it'll be. Obviously, there's a lot of different ways it can go. All the things are kind of open, but at this point, I feel like I put together a good season. I've done everything I could to try to prove my worth, and hopefully that works out.
What do you think is missing from you guys, getting deeper in the playoffs, making the Super Bowl run, getting back to the Super Bowl?
I think being healthy is probably the biggest one. I think everything else, we check the boxes with. Just the last, really 3 years, but 2 years, just being hurt, at different various positions, different times of the year. I think if we can stay healthy, with our key guys for the majority of the season, it plays out different.
24 hours later, but can you put into perspective where this team is at the end of the season?
And we're home, just like everybody else. We won the NFCs, which is what you set out to do. But we're home a lot earlier than we set out to be. So you look at the positive things. I think we have created a culture here that gives us a winning pedigree, allows us to compete, and carries well deep into the season. I think we have depth with players that can play all the way from obviously our practice squad to our starters. The biggest thing is how do we stay healthy? How do we stay consistent over the long haul? And I think, and how do you deal with change? Because off seasons always come with change to your roster, change to coaching staff. And so as you transition to those, how do you maintain that culture through the next season?
What is it about this culture that makes players and makes guys like you want to play?
Well, I think it's starts with the coaching staff and just the kind of environment that they create, and it also has a lot to do with the type of guys that we bring in here, guys that want to win, guys that have a chip on their shoulder, guys who don't mind putting the team before themselves and for a collective goal. And if we continue to fill the locker room with those type of guys, continue to have the coaching staff, do what they do in the type of environment they create. It's something I think that can be maintained over the years.
Despite all the injuries, do you view this season as a success? View this season as a success?
I mean, if we wanted to win the Super Bowl, we didn't, do that. So obviously that part of it, nobody feels happy about. But only one team will feel like they had a successful season. But it's definitely one I think to be remembered. Like I said yesterday, all things considered, they're still going to hang a banner for this team. As ugly as it was, as up and down as it was, something about being in Philly and having the chips stack up like that is kind of just how you want it. So, it's definitely something to be proud of. I know I look around and, like I said, as frustrating as you can be, it's like you feel good about the type of things that you saw from the team, given the circumstances, that some of which was out of our control.
When you wake up today, what feeling takes precedent? Is it the pride in the fact that you guys were able to overcome all those injuries and get as far as you did? Or is it the frustration of the fact that it ended the way it did in the what-ifs?
I've been in it long enough to understand that the majority of your seasons are going to end like this. And so, you really start to think about, do you have many regrets? What things were in your control? What things out of your control? A lot of things out of our control this year, as far as, injuries, things like that. But the things that we could control, I thought we did a good job with that, and definitely had a lot more things to be proud about than disappointed. Like I said, you finished the majority of your seasons in this fashion. But when you reflect on it, I know for me at least, the feeling is more pride than disappointment.
Is it excuse making to say you guys had too many injuries to hold on, or is that just the facts?
No, I think we won the NFC East, which is what we set out to do. Gave ourselves a chance for the home playoff game, played it tight, didn't win. I don't think it's an excuse. I think whether it was this week, next week, week after that, every team's going to have that same feeling. But it doesn't mean that your season's back. It just means you didn't get what you wanted to get accomplished. So I don't think we're using any excuses. I think we come a long way. It just didn't get it done.
Yesterday you said you hadn't seen the hit yet. Have you seen it now on Carson?
Yeah.
What do you think?
We play football. You never want to see hits like that. But as a person who's paid to hit people, I don't ever. Unless it's really, really blatant, I don't think it's a dirty thing or an intentional thing. I think guys play hard. I know if I got a chance to hit their quarterback, I was going to hit him too. So I don't think anything of it.
It seemed the past 2 years in here, there's almost a sentiment to run it back. They kind of reload. Is there a sense that this offseason is going to be different than the past 2 years?
Maybe. I think, there's a lot of, things to be dealt with from the business standpoint, I think, this year. With multiple guys in the locker room. So I think there is an understanding that the locker room is going to change a bit. And that's been a little bit different in years past. But the goal is still the same.
For you personally, have you ever had a lockout clean-out day here with this much uncertainty about your future?
I did. And last time I was in New Orleans. You talking about here? No, obviously not. No. No, but I'm certain that things will work out however they're supposed to. Like I said, I feel like I've done everything I can. Those things tend to work themselves out, and we'll see where that goes.
And that was my follow-up there was you said you weren't gonna. You said you were going to play. You weren't going to talk about the contract.
Mm-hmm.
You did that. You played every game. You played every snap.
Yep.
Do you feel like there's anything more you could have shown the team about your style?
No, I think if I'm not one to beg, and I'm a very prideful person, so I feel like what I put out there this year, what I put on tape, what I've given to this team, is more than enough. I can't do any more, and so for me, I feel good about that. That'll be good enough for me to go into this offseason with certainty that I'll be fine, and that it'll work out.
You've accomplished a lot in your career, the Super Bowls, playing every snap here. As you move forward, what do you prioritize? Is it staying in Philadelphia? Is it winning? Is it getting one last big contract? Obviously, how do you?
I think it's a combination of all those things. I want to be valued. I want to get compensated for what I think I'm worth.
Yeah.
But I want to win. I want to be in a good locker room. So, you know, I'm a private person who enjoys to compete and win, but I'm not a dummy either. So, you know, at this point in my career, you know, I weigh all those things before I make any decision.